The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast platform, its affiliates, or even the hosts. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and should not be taken as legal, financial, or professional advice. The host and guests are not liable for any errors of omission in the content, nor for any losses, injuries, or damages arising from the use of the information provided. Listeners are encouraged to seek professional advice relevant to their specific circumstances. Now enjoy the
Hey everyone, and welcome again to Spotlight with that B. We are at episode 13. I'm super happy to share today my picks for different songs and artists that I feel I am putting a lot of my followers onto. Some you might know, some recently released new music, a new album. Some are releasing music within the next couple days and within the next couple weeks. So these are artists that I follow. That the reason why I'm doing my spotlight today on these artists or these songs is because even though at times I feel some of them are well known, a lot of people I know, a lot of my followers, if they do know of them, they are not aware of new music that they might have, or new projects that they're working on, or some people I know might not even know these artists at all. They all stand out to me as far as amazing creatives with amazing talent, where a lot of times when they put out new joints, as I call them, new music, I think to myself, why am I not seeing more of this? As far I don't know if it's lack of marketing or uh, I was mentioning to somebody earlier today that a lot of times it's the way algorithms are on different platforms, where it's something where it affects the access I have to certain artists or certain songs. So we're gonna just jump right into it. Um, I I'm gonna show everyone real quick. This started as a small list and it became all this because I really want to spread the word on a lot of these songs. Um, I'm hoping now, mind you, some of these artists, once again, are known artists, but they're not known to everyone that either I associate with or I have come into contact with. Now, living in Miami, um, two genres that you hear, but I don't feel hear often enough when you are out in a club or when you are out in an event or at a function, unless you're going to a specialty type of event like the doo-wop that specifically is playing certain types of R&B music. But you know you're going to get that because you're going to the doo-wop. But there are other venues or other events that I attend where if it wasn't that I'm going specifically to go see these artists, I most likely would never even come into contact with anything that they are creating. And I want all of you, everyone watching, including my producer friends, my artist friends, to know that you might think that a lot of people are aware of all the content and everything you're creating, because you might have a lot of followers. But I'm going to be honest with you, that isn't necessarily the case. I love to use two of my favorite people right now as the best example, and that's Jay Valentine and his brother Bobby Newt. So if it wasn't for the R&B Money podcast, if it wasn't for certain communities that I'm part of that definitely promote a lot of their music and things that they are doing, if it wasn't for that, I might not necessarily have ever heard of the Newts, the Neutrons, um, or their music. So I believe since they do have a large following, this is one of the best examples because you would think I would have heard a lot of the content that they're putting out or have put out in the past, but a lot of it is brand new to me. I'm going to be honest. Not so much now Jay Valentine because I'm a huge fan of the R&B Money podcast and This Week in R&B. And after being exposed to a lot of the music that him and Tank were putting out and promoting on their page, um, this is how I became such a big fan. And I always tell myself and others, I wish I would have known earlier. I wish I would have been exposed earlier to a lot of this content and music and all the things that they have done where I just really had no idea, but no one around me was ever exposed to it either. So who was there to be able to tell me, oh, have you heard about this group or have you heard about these two artists? Their brothers are phenomenal singers. They do a multitude of things apparently because they're super talented and super creative. Um, Now Tank I always knew because I have followed Tank for quite some time, and here in Miami, he definitely gets a lot more airplay, I think is the term. Also, I used to watch Man Cave, and I was exposed more to whatever he was putting out because of the fact that it was something that was promoted better. Um, so the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's one of the things that keeps on coming back to me when I'm thinking how I want to share my platform and how I want to spotlight different artists, different genres, how I want to put others on into music, artists, different types of creatives, how I want to again put others on to maybe people they just haven't heard of or maybe maybe they just aren't searching or maybe their algorithm is not sharing this content with them either, because I do come across that issue a lot. So with that said, I picked different artists, R&B and hip hop, which I believe every time they put out content, it always stands out to me. Um, and again, some of these artists are brand new, and I wouldn't have known of them if it wasn't for the platforms that I follow. If it wasn't for the R&B Money podcast, if it wasn't for This Week in R&B, and I'm going to be honest with you, if it wasn't for other creatives or artists or producers that are actually taking the time to tell their followers, um, and put their followers on into or onto all these artists and the music that they're putting out there. Um, I definitely don't believe in gatekeeping. So when I see people share their platform, um, it actually inspires me more to do more of what I do, more of my spotlights on all the creatives that I know. And this is why I'm always saying, do it for the culture. If for nothing else, I do it for the culture. I see so many shining so bright that I feel at times the only reason that they haven't just blown up and have, gained enormous success is really just for the lack of not having the appropriate promotion. Um, so, in this episode, we are going to start off with um, I don't even know who to select first. I'm going to be honest with you. But I think I'm going to start off with someone that I met very briefly. And I met him through one of my friends, which is Chad Elliott, CEO. So Chad, when Chad and we would do lives on IG as friends, just talking smack, talking about music. We would talk about music often. And one thing he would always tell me is that he had like a group chat with Jermaine Dupri, who is his friend, and a couple other people. And one of these people, and they would all talk about music and, what's going on in the industry and, just different topics, but in regards to whatever they're bringing up, but in their group chat. So one of these people is actually Daniel from Division. And that is spelled, by the way, because I've had other people tell me, "Oh, I would love to hear the songs." So I looked up Division though, and it isn't spelled Division. It's actually spelled DVSN. When I initially heard of the group, because even though Division is very popular in Miami, not a lot of people that I know of Division. Um, I want to say one of the doo-wops I went to a few years ago, I did a spotlight on, and it was a Division album release party. And JD was there. Um, that particular album I really enjoyed, but I kept wondering whatever happened to Division because they have so much talent, and I believe it's a producer and an artist, if I'm correct on this. From my research, I believe it's a producer and an artist because I've asked, is Division just Daniel or is Division a group? Break it down for me. So from research, I ended up hearing that apparently the issue was more along the lines of something contractual. So now that that is out the way and there is no issues, Division decided to release. I want to say it wasn't if it wasn't a week ago, it was 2 weeks ago. Two new songs. Let me just say, my friend Chad couldn't stop raving about Daniel's voice and how talented he was. And would always kind of make it seem like to me, like, why aren't you making a big deal or spotlighting Division? So my main reason was because I was waiting on them to come out with new music. Um, Now, mind you, there's collabs out there. There's the album that I went to the release party for that doo wop. However, nothing I had heard yet prepared me for these two new songs. Now, I grabbed some clips off our friendly neighborhood Instagrams for all these artists. And they're just super quick, but they're to give you a quick tease so it inspires everyone to go out, research, um, go online, pull up the songs, have a listen. I can guarantee you will not be disappointed. And if you are not a fan, you most likely will be. You will be now. So, two songs. is the only thing we got. And I know I need a full album, but if I understood correctly, I believe there might be more to come. But for now, we got two songs. One of them is Love on You. And I already gave the little video to my engineer RG, and I know he's going to be putting up the. I like to cue for RG where it is I would like him to place the video with the hand. And Love on You, man, what a touching song. It's one of those songs that when you hear it, it just it mesmerizes you. Um, and that is an extreme compliment because two people that do that for me, for sure, are two of my favorite artists, which I talk about all the time. I just talked about them earlier, which is Tank and Jay Valentine. And it's not just because they have amazing vocals, but because of their pen. And if you know me, you know that I'm always saying lyrics matter. I loved everything about these two songs. The lyrics, the vocals, the producing, the music, like everything about them. Whereas I'm saying it left me wanting, okay, well, I would like them actually to be longer, or I would need more. So the other song is called Excited. Wait, no, sorry. Excited. Um, wow. Wow. Again, amazing, amazing songs. Um, they're very sexy, and I'm gonna use the terms I use. They're very sexy joints. Yeah, I am. I am definitely going to say that I would have to 100% agree with Chad when he was saying Daniel is definitely somebody to keep an eye out on because he does have phenomenal talent. I didn't realize he could do what I heard him do. I believe is it's at the end of Excited. Um, he is doing what I call vocal acrobats because or gymnastics because I didn't realize his voice could do that. I would expect that from somebody like Tank or Jay. Um, but I was very impressed. So I don't feel like I'm seeing enough online where people are discussing these two songs, and I feel that they definitely should be. Um, Again, I hope this inspires people. This list, I hope it inspires people to go research it, Google it, go on Spotify, go on Apple Music, whatever you got to do to listen to these songs. Um, and if you'd like, in the comments, let me know what you think. But Love on You and Excited from Division, yes, all the way, yes. I need more songs. That's what I need. I need more songs. Um, I they're the type of songs that you could literally have them. I think all the songs on my list, you can have them on a loop and just listen to them continuously. And they're just phenomenal songs. So I want to mix it up a little bit where it's something where you're going to get um, some well known and not so, and some not so well known artists. Oddly enough, I'm looking at my list and I don't believe I have any females on the list, so I might have to do the next one with some female artists. Now, this was unintentional, but these are actually artists, again, that I do follow. And it just happens to be that they're all male. So, next on my list is Sweata Weta. Weather, sorry. Sweata Weather. If you like SNL, then you know about Sweata Weather skit. That particular skit, hilarious. So there is an artist. His IG handle is one Sweata, and that's spelled Sweata. So it is Sweata. It's not that I'm saying it incorrectly. He is going to have, I believe it's Friday, so it'll be the day after you see this episode. He is going to release one of his new songs. He keeps releasing songs here and there. I call them teasers. um, I can't wait till he drops an entire album because I think he is another up and coming artist that is just phenomenal. He has an amazing pen. His voice is also mesmerizing. And the one thing I noticed about a lot of these songs that I'm really into is the way the lyrics are. It's like conversations with women, um which is oddly enough funny because that's what Jay Valentine said he wanted to name his album. And initially I was like, well, that's an interesting concept. But then now listening to all these songs that are coming out, I'm realizing that what draws me is how it does seem like it's a love letter to women, whether it's the freaky type of love letter or whether it's the sweet, I just want to express to you how it is that my heart beats for you type of vibe. Sweata is the very um I don't want to use the word sweet, but sweet is the word that it is. Sometimes you want to just be spoken to as a woman in a particular way, where it's just it isn't anything where it's off-putting or it's too aggressive um or anything that is freaky. Sometimes you want it to be really chill, and you want it to be something where, if nothing else, when you're listening to the music, you're thinking, this is the way love should feel. This is the way a man should be speaking to me. This is the way somebody should be expressing to me how it is that I make them feel. And Sweater is one of those guys. I love his music. He's definitely young. This I know. And it seems though like he has an older soul because of the content and because of the lyrics. Um, I think all the majority of his songs they're just beautiful songs. From the lyrics to the actual music. Now he is produced often by Ninth Wonder. And Ninth is really big. Shout out to Ninth Wonder. Ninth is really, really big in love song, or into love songs and 90s R&B and that type of vibe. So I'm not surprised. And I think they are definitely, when they collab, it is mesmerizing. I love it when they collab. But his song coming out, I again, it's Friday, so it'll be the day after this episode comes out. I believe it's called Cozy. I tried to get um more information from his page, but Sweata is the type of artist, kind of like Division, where it seems like everything is a big secret until they decide to do the drop. So I tried to get more info, but this is the best I could do with what I had. But I definitely wanted to mention he's gonna have a song coming out called Cozy. Every song he's put out so far, I really enjoy. A lot of times he goes on his IG live and he'll share music with us, his followers, and it's always a vibe. Like I say, it's always a vibe. I heard this particular song. He put out a little clip, which you guys will, whoops, sorry, which you guys will see. I hope you enjoy it. Again, I believe the song is called Cozy. If you want to know more on any of these artists, please go on to their Instagram or any of the platforms, search their names, go into any of the platforms. Often enough, they have clips, if not full videos, of the content that they're putting out. I definitely recommend it, unless you just want to go on Spotify or on Apple and search for the music. Now, some of these artists will not have all their content on something like Apple or Spotify. Some of them are on Bandcamp, some of them are on other platforms, which is why I suggest to research it. Google it, or whatever search engine you use to locate information. That's what I would suggest you do. Um, so, since we discussed sweater weather, since we discussed Sweata, I feel like the next duo I want to discuss, who often enough collab and are produced by Ninth Wonder, is Swank and King Draft. Um, Phenomenal hip hop duo. Their lyrics are bananas, like I say. I can't stop talking about Swank and Draft. Um, I had to stop reposting like everything they would drop because it got kind of weird for me. Like, I was like, okay, I mean, are you gonna repost everything they drop, Betty? Because it's like, I feel like when people use the term "they can do no wrong," I swear to God, they can do no wrong when it comes to their lyrics, the beats that they choose. I don't know how much they are involved in picking the beats, or how much they are involved with Ninth in picking beats, but it seems like every time they put their vocals and their pen in something, like any type of beats that Ninth has created, it is phenomenal. um I can listen to their probably all of their clips, if not a lot of their songs and clips, on a loop. I actually did go on Spotify, searching for some of their music, and I have them as one of my playlists. Um, I can't wait for when they continue to drop more music, but that it's longer. A lot of these songs, I feel, and I think that might be the new thing now, is that um, songs just aren't as long as they used to be. But I think this is a good thing, because that means if the consumer is wanting it to be longer and wanting more, I think that's your whole goal. Mission accomplished. So they normally every couple weeks or so they will drop new music, and they're little clips that they do on IG, and I love all the clips. Now, their most recent is called Mona Lisa. So Mona Lisa, um, I loved it. For me, what stands out the most in anything that they're putting out, again, they have phenomenal beats, and the production is amazing. But for me, what stands out the most is they're also young, but seem like the things that they have, as far as in the things that they're discussing with their lyrics, is definitely mature content. They're not going to talk to you about they're not going to be bragging about the jewelry they're wearing, or shooting people up, or any of those things. um Even though at times they might reference certain things, that isn't what their content is about. So for me, it's intelligent writing. And their lyrics always stand out. One of the things I'm always saying about Swank and Draft is that their lyrics are so witty. It's always something that I think to myself, man, I would love to be able to come up with things like that, like off of a whim, and just be saying those things. Because again, their pen game is crazy impressive. That's my feedback on Swank and King Draft. So Mona Lisa was, I believe it was today, if not yesterday, that they released that or dropped it on their page. Again, super impressed. Um, they had one in the beginning of September, which was, I think it was like around the 5th or the 8th or something like that, where they brought out a song and or a clip, because it seems like it's a shorter clip, and that one's called Excuse Me Miss. Now, a lot of times, these beats, they're going with these lyrics that 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 Ninth Wonder is putting together, or chopping up, or whatever the term is y'all use for it. A lot of them are songs that you will recognize from hip hop or R&B, and that's another reason why I love their particular content. Um, you would think to yourself, the fact that they thought of putting all this together is just, for me, it's mind blowing, but it shows what phenomenal talent that they do have. And I believe having Ninth produce them is one of the best things that they could be doing. I think them collabing is is definitely the way to go. Um, every song they put out, I love, hands down. I can say that with no issues, because it is something where, if it's not the beats or the way that everything was put together as far as the production, it is definitely the lyrics that has me hooked. And if not, it's all of it together in a lump sum. So that's Swank and King Draft. They have their own individual pages, King Draft and Swank. I believe it's Swank 252 is Swank's. Or they have a page together, which is Swank, SWANK, the letter N, and then King and Draft, like NBA draft. So let's see, which one do I want to tell y'all about next. So I think the next one that I'll mention real quick is, for me, they're a new group, but I know they're on, for example, they're on different shows, like the singing competition type shows. They're doing very, very well. I've been following them since I heard of them on This Week in R&B. And I say this often, so I don't mind saying it again. One of the things that I love about following the R&B Money podcast page and This Week in R&B is, whoever handles, or unless it's multiple people, whoever handles selecting the music that they choose to tag onto a lot of their posts, um, that person definitely is somebody that, or if it's multiple people, or if it's a group of people, they definitely have their ear to the streets and are definitely savvy when it comes to a wide variety of not just artists, but music. The curating is top tier. And I definitely have expressed this opinion often to the R&B Money page and This Week in R&B. Um, so I do know I heard of them from their page, and I started following the group, and they're called Citi Limitz, and that's CITI Limits. And most recently, they've been going live and, talking to their followers and sharing content, singing for us, and dropping some clips here and there with some music. One of the things that stands out to me is that they like to sing a cappella. And if you know me, you know I love that. That and acoustic versions of music. Um, Now, what stood out to me today, I believe it was today. Again, if it wasn't today, it was yesterday. They put out a mashup um, on their page, and it is Tyrese and Kaylani's um, fold it. Man, that song. So wait, no, gosh. Sorry. This side, um, I got the clip. I don't believe it's a full song yet because I was trying to find a way to grab it where I could post like something where you guys could see, but so you could hear just a clip of the song. Now, a lot of these songs, RG is not going to be able to play a lot of the music, but because of the rights, we don't want to get any types of flags or anything of the sort from YouTube, so they will be quick. But again, I encourage you to go on their page on IG, have a listen to the song Bananas. I love it. I will most likely be reposting a lot of these songs um, as I'm promoting my episode. But man, I know they're also very young, and the talent that they have is it's just mind blowing. I wish them nothing but the best and continued success. All the artists that I'm mentioning, you could tell that they put in the work and that they're definitely determined. Um, Man, and with the vocals that they have, and it seems like they have a good um, a good circle around them to help them as far as reaching the goals that they have. I would definitely say that they're gonna have amazing success. Um, so far, everything I have seen with City Limits from, and people are always saying that a lot of these artists these days, what they need is artist development. But I definitely feel from a lot of the artists that I'm mentioning, they definitely have that in the bag. And I think that is where maybe a lot of these artists that I'm mentioning, where they stand out. They could do lives on IG. They're definitely interacting with their followers and their fans, and it's always such positive energy. So they're definitely doing interviews well. They got it together in regards to, again, being dedicated and putting in the work, and giving us really good quality entertainment and music, and content. So again, they have that mashup. It's with Tyrese and Kaylani. It is on their page right now. I believe I think it was today when they dropped it. Amazing song. I loved it. I love mashups and remixes and all that. So I'm glad they decided to jump on board with all these remixes and challenges and mashups that are going on right now. But man, that's a winner winner chicken dinner right there. I really really enjoyed it, so I wanted to definitely mention them. I don't know who I'm going to mention next, so let's see. i have I have two more. So I think the I'm going to leave an entire album that's dropped for last, and to speak on that last. But the next one that I want to discuss is a very big name, but that has a new album. He's very he's actually one of my favorite artists. I listen to him often. His older content or music, and most recently he's been really active on his Instagram channel when he was getting ready to put out his music, as he was putting his album together, and he was being again very vocal and interacting a lot with his followers and his fans through his IG page, but kind of like on the back end, because I was realizing he wasn't really posting a lot on his page, but a lot of the information was coming to us in his channel, which I thought was really wise. He most recently did a couple lives, I believe, and that was very entertaining. Also, he shared some of this new music with us and let us know that he was going to be putting out an album. Now, I believe this particular album is coming out soon, if it already hasn't come out, but I definitely know that he started posting and sending through his channel for his followers a new song, and this song is called El Pleito, and that artist is Miguel. Now, here's what I really love about his songs that he's bringing out. There is so much Spanish in the song, and if you know me, you know that I am bilingual. I'm Cuban. I speak English and Spanish, clearly English, as you can hear here. And I was very impressed that he decided to add kind of like the Spanish vibes to his content or his new music. And again, the new song is called El Pleito. Now, when he was on live, he was explaining to us, um, he was giving us more info on the reasoning of why he created the album, um, with the content that he did. And man, let me tell you, it was so deep that it definitely made me understand it more, and it definitely made me appreciate it more. So um, please go on his page. The songs are out now. I also got a video. This was real quick because, believe it or not, I believe these artists might be doing this on purpose. But it's kind of hard to grab the content at times. So I have to finagle my way in getting these little clips for y'all. But again, the song is called, and I'm going to spell it because I just realized it makes sense to me, but it might sound like one word to all of you. So it's Lel. Second word is Pleito, pleito. Um, which pleito I think is like problem in Spanish. So a really good song. I really enjoyed it. When he did go live, he did have us listen to quite a few songs from his album, and I'm gonna be honest, I was impressed with all of them. But I'm not surprised because again, Miguel is one of my favorite artists. I think he has an amazing voice, an amazing talent. And from what he's showing us now when he's doing these lives and interacting with us in all the different vias he has on Instagram, he seems to be like a really dope person too. So I have no issues with supporting him and letting everyone know how he has new music and to go check it out. Um, I understand some of the lyrics are in Spanish, but it's definitely good music and super entertaining. Um, Give it a try. You might not understand some of the words, but it might not necessarily deter you. There are a lot of bilingual joints though, so it's not like you'll be lost completely to whatever it is that is being said in the song. So the very last album I want to discuss, new drop, which I call it the banger, no skips album, probably of 2025. Now, for me, this is a different type of album that I would normally be accustomed to. It is a hip hop album. It is definitely a southern feel, and that is Jermaine Dupri's Magic City album. Man, banger after banger after banger. Um, there's not one song on there that I don't like. As I'm saying, for me, it's a no skips album. Now, I normally am more of an R&B girl, or a conscious type of hip hop, um, loving, guys talking to women type of feel in the music that I like to ingest. But I also have very different sides of me, personalities. Not personalities. That kind of makes it seem like I'm little, but that's not the case. I guess depending on, since I am a Cancer, I'm very emotional and I have different moods. So there are times where I want to listen to something that is going to get me bumping, that I want to exercise to, that I want to lift weights to, that I want to just have this different type of, not loungy but clubby type feel, and something that's definitely going to make me move, and something that's going to make me not just move around a little but make me dance. And this album definitely does that. Now, one of the things I really like is that I caught on to the fact that in some of these songs, JD is actually dropping some verses. And I have been asking for that, I feel like, forever. So the fact that he's finally doing it on this album again, man, yes. All the way, yes. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I hope he continues to do more, where he is being more involved, not just with the producing, but with dropping some verses, more verses on us. Um, I love JD's music. It's not a lie. I strongly support him and his music and his platform and his brand. So deaf, all of it. Um, I don't think I expected anything else but bangers from him. But since I'm so used to really enjoying the majority of his music being R&B for me, usually when I'm selecting joints and it's like on a JD playlist, the majority of the time it is R&B. I don't know why that is. I think it's just whatever platform I'm using to listen to the music, that is what it's playing. So it's nice to have something different where it's still, again, an amazing vibe. I heard it in my car, the entire album, driving around doing things after it dropped, and it sounds phenomenal. The producing, the lyrics, the artist he chose, it's not the same artist over and over again. Some of them are artists that he brought back, like Ti. I saw in one of the clips and I heard in one of the songs, I believe it was a quick verse, but even Lil Scrappy was on one. I mean, I really, really, again, I really enjoy the album in its entirety. It's rare for me to say that there are albums that are no skips for me because I am very, very picky. Um, but the one thing that stood out immediately for me was that this album was banger after banger after banger, and that I didn't skip not one song. Um, Now sometimes I'm a little bit, what term do I want to use? Ghetto, ratchet, whatever you want to say. Um, and the one thing that I do like about the album is it's getting me moving. It's making me feel real street, real hood, all that. However, it isn't in any way turning me off. It isn't anything negative where I'm feeling offended. So for me, Magic City is no skips, banger after banger after banger. Shout out to JD. Phenomenal album. I know he put in a lot of time into creating that album because he was sharing the entire process often on IG with his followers. Um, so I know it wasn't easy. All of us that were watching him do it, we could see this. And I'm super happy and proud of him that he was able to accomplish this and that it is such a success. But I feel even with JD, a lot of people, not enough people, with how good this album is, I feel not enough people are talking about it. And they should be. In fact, I feel everything I've mentioned, all these artists and their catalogs, more people should be making a big deal about them, and I feel like they're not, which is why you're hearing me talk about them today. Feel free to play this over and over and over again as many times as you wish, so you can write down the list and go research it, go support. I hope I am at least at least a little bit inspiring you to go and check out, if not all the artists, at least a couple. I'm gonna see what I put together for the next episode that I do where I'm spotlighting artists, because I do want to see if I can locate more artists that are females that stand out to me the way all these phenomenal artists, yet all men, do. There has to be there has to be women out there that stand out to me just as much as all these men do. Um, so I'm gonna put my mind to starting to locate more, again, female artists that I feel just like these artists that a lot of people aren't talking a lot about, or that a lot of people just aren't aware of. So I do know that one of the reasons why I am again aware of any of these artists is because of the platforms that I follow. I encourage you all to follow the same platforms. There are times where they literally are turning you on into new music where you're just like, this is my new favorite artist, and I wish I would have heard of them before. I wish I would have heard of the particular podcast or the show before for me to be put on to all this new content, or or this person's catalog, because it might be an artist, as I was saying earlier, like I'm going to use him again as an example, like Jay Valentine, that has a really large catalog, has even written for other artists, and I just never knew about it. So if it wasn't for somebody letting me in on the information, I would have never known. So I hope I am doing this for you all. Um, I love music. It is one of my passions. I wish God would have given me the blessing of having the voice or the talent As far as like writing or producing, that a lot of the people that I mentioned today have. Um, but I don't. The best I can do is be a loyal fan or a loyal follower, where I could at least ingest a lot of the content and support them a lot, and still make others aware of what it is that they're creating, even though I can't partake in singing myself. Um, I think that is it for me today. I just wanted to come on and really let all of you know about all these songs and these artists. I'm going to, again, for the next time, I'm going to put something together where it's going to be a group of female artists with their songs and whatever it is that they're working on. Um, Again, go ahead and research everyone that I mentioned today. Each and every one of these artists, I am super proud of. I know that they all are very dedicated to their craft, and um, for me to be recommending them, minimum, they have amazing talent. Um, I will catch everyone for the next episode of Spotlight with That Beat, which will be episode 14. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, if I'm going to be spotlighting an event, an artist, or if it's something where I'm going to um, do something more like what I did today. So stay tuned. Check out my page, that underscore B74 on IG, for more content. I do daily lives, and I also like to um, I'm definitely a content creator, so I like to put together, when I see things that are impressive to me or see things that I do want to share. I do like to put together content on my page where I could share it with others, where you could see why it is that I love and why I promote um, all the platforms and the artists that I do. So I invite you all not just to check out and research all these artists, but to check out my page as well. Everybody have an amazing day. Whenever it is you are watching this, if it's something where you are somewhere and it's nighttime, have an amazing night. If it's something where it's daytime or morning, have an amazing day. Always spread love, be kind to others, and walk with integrity. I will catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.